Okay, put your head in.
Okay.
Alright, I think we got all five people. Are you sure enough?
Okay, my name is Noah. Nice to meet everybody here. I'm going to do you all a big favor here today. I'm going to teach you how to make friends. And I think the best way to teach someone how to make friends is to explain to them how people choose their friends in general. So the way people choose friends, basically there's three different things that go through their mind. One is the person reassuring and calming? Two, what are the characteristics that match between the two people? And three, are you able to develop a long-lasting, more intimate relationship? And so for the first one, reassuring and calming, that's pretty self-explanatory. Can they reassure you and make you feel calm? And so that's broken down into two different categories. One is people like to be reassured whenever they fear things. And then the other way they're reassured is through just information. So they actually did, for fear, they did a study. Stanley Schachter did a study for, basically, they got a group of people together and they told the people, okay, you're going to get zapped. And half the people were told they were going to get zapped. The other people weren't told they were going to get zapped. And the study was on what kind of waiting room they wanted to stay in. The people who were told they were going to be zapped preferred to wait in a waiting room, one, that was full of people, and two, full of people that were also going to get zapped, as opposed to not going to get zapped at all, and a room that's by themselves. And the people who weren't going to get zapped they had no preference really. And so, and that goes for most things. People they feel reassured whenever they're experiencing something together with another person. And as far as information goes, they feel reassured because people have opinions and they're almost always really self-conscious about their opinions. And having someone who matches those opinions, for whatever reason, makes them feel more confident in those opinions, which is super terrible for most aspects of life, because that leads to groupthink and people thinking that they're right when they're really not, just because other people agree with them. But that's just how people are. And especially if it's an opinion that they're super self-conscious about, a friend who agrees with them is even more likely to become friends with them just because they share those opinions. The other way that they choose friends is just characteristics that they match in. And so that's broken into three different things. One, there's propinquity, which is basically physical location, like how close you are to somebody. And for that is just people, if you see someone frequently, either like you're walking to class, you work together, you live near each other, stuff like that, just seeing people in general multiple times makes you like them more. And they did a similar study with zapping by the same person, and they found that. So basically, did another study where people were zapped multiple times throughout the week for like 3 weeks, and by the third week, they actually started to enjoy the zapping because it was just a stimulus that they were accustomed to. And so people, whenever they just experience things over and over again, for whatever reason, it starts to be a bad thing and it can turn into a good thing. So, and then another, besides propinquity, is just physical characteristics and personality-wise. People who are like you like them. Because one, it goes back into the shared opinions and then shared location because you're more likely to be in the same place. But also just the shared characteristics make you feel more of a group. And so if you're a person who has really attractive friends, then more than likely you're a pretty attractive person. So be happy about that. And more so than anything else is just actually complementary characteristics. So if you are someone who, like, say, I like to talk, you're going to be friends with someone who likes to listen. If you're someone I like to clean, you're going to be friends with someone who's like, I don't like to clean. And so that more so than the people who share characteristics, complementary characteristics, they're not opposite, but they're not the same either. those are the biggest characteristic as far as becoming friends goes. Finally, there is just the ability to create a long-lasting, in-depth relationship. And they did a study for college students by the University of Missouri in Columbia by Amanda J. Rose. And they just did a simple questionnaire, and they found that people who stated that they actually are vulnerable and share things in their friendships reported that those friendships became much more long-lasting and fulfilling. And so typically, friendships work off the social exchange theory, which is like, you get something out of the friendship, I get something out of the friendship, and that's how it goes. When the longer the friendship goes on, the more likely you are to invest more. And so, really, and I mean, Keisha, my lovable dog here, is a perfect example of that, because she's someone who, you see her all the time, dog's man's best friend, and they require very little. Social exchange theory goes, you're getting a lot out of that friendship, they're getting basically nothing. And so, really, best thing I can say to make friends, be yourself, because you're going to find people who like you. And 2, go to a place with a lot of people, because then you're more likely to see more people who are like you. And that's really it. Can't help you much more than that.
Yeah. Is it question time?
And then also, if you guys have any questions, I'll take those at any time now.
Okay. So, do you believe that opposites attract in friendships?
No, for sure they do not. I mean, they've done a lot of studies on that, but in general, people they'll have friends like, oh, we're super opposite. Typically what that is like, maybe on surface level stuff, you're super opposite. Like, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, you would think they'd be not friends, but more times than not, they have maybe the way they think about things, or there's something that they do share in common, which is what leads to their friendship. So typically, opposite attract does not lead to actually real friendships most of the time.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
Do you think it's possible for men and women to have a platonic friendship?
I mean, it is, depending on kind of what they're looking for in a friendship. Obviously, sexual attraction is always going to come into play. But I think if you're someone who just super isn't looking for that, and both of you share that in common, and there's stuff besides that you're both looking for and that you're getting out of the relationship, then you're much more likely to actually see that as a fulfilling relationship that's platonic.
Oh. Go ahead, Sandra.
Okay, so what was that whole speech again? Could you say?
It was about friendship.
Oh, about friendship. Cool.
Any other questions?
So about friendship. So if can you have I've been dying to know this. So could you have a girlfriend, like a girl that's a friend?
You can have a friend that is a girl, yes.
Okay.
That is what I was referring to with the
Can you
platonic
call her
friendship
a girlfriend?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Is there any other questions?
Of the categories that you said of how to make friends, which ones do you think is the most efficient?
I'd say by far, definitely the propinquity, just general location. The more you see people, the more likely you are to be friends with them. And then also the complementary characteristics. That usually leads to much better, long-lasting friendships. And I think that'll do it for us. Appreciate you guys coming. Have a wonderful day.
I have a question.